guys, and welcome back to an episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Rutger, and this week, what we found off the shelf was...
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
If only you could see what I've seen.
What seems to be the problem? I want more life.
It's too bad she won't live. But then again, who does?
More human than human is our motto.
Blade Runner, released in 1982, based on the 1968 Philip K. Dick story, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, starring Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, Edward James Olmos, Daryl Hannah, and Sean Young. So, this film is also composed by Vangelis. It is a cyberpunk, crime, dystopian, neo-noir film. I don't care if any of those words don't make sense together. It's what it is. And it was directed by Ridley Scott when he used to make good movies. But this movie is very good. I mean, I feel like that it's okay. I don't know if that's a great way to start, but it's very influential. I'd say it's very introspective. It's kind of existential. But even though this film is praised up to high heavens these days, especially it's held up as one of the a big inspiration for the cyberpunk genre. Up there with Akira and other stuff like that. It really helped. I wouldn't say it was the thing that started the cyberpunk genre, but it certainly helped start it, or helped influence it. But back then, when it first came out, it was not received very well, or it was at least mixed, because back then, they said, oh, it's too slow, there's not enough action, the human story isn't very good. And apparently, I don't know about this, but apparently when the film was advertised back in 82, or back in the 80s, it was advertised as an action-adventure film, which it absolutely isn't. Again, I watched the final cut of the film, which is the only cut of the film, which was released in 2007, which is the only cut of the film to have Ridley Scott's complete, like, artistic control, I guess, or his vision envisioned into the cut of the film. And, but apparently in the original theatrical cut, there was the original 82 version, there was, like, some really shitty narration from Harrison Ford, which he thought was unnecessary, and apparently it's not good narration, because it's not well written, and it doesn't, I think the film is brooding, and it's silent, and it's atmospheric, and you kind of listen to the ambience of the city. I think that, like, adds to the vibe of the film, it's noir, sometimes, yeah, you can have monologues, but I feel like this kind of movie doesn't really need it, because this film really does have a lot of wordless storytelling. It has a lot of, scenes without that many words being spoken, and that makes sense. That's fine. But apparently the reason they added the terrible monologue that Harrison Ford apparently, like, really half-assed and did it terribly because he didn't think they were going to use it. Apparently the reason they implemented that is because during test screenings, some of the viewers found it hard to follow the story, so they, like, tacked on, like, narration. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of unnecessary. I mean, I don't really think the film was that hard to follow. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's not simple, but, like, it's not super duper complex. It's, like, not non-linear or anything like that. I feel like it's a pretty simple, understandable, like, theme and plot. I mean, it's kind of about, what does it mean to be human, or, kind of the idea of the replicants themselves, of how we tried to make them more human than human, I believe is what they said in the movie. But I think, like, it introduces the whole idea of, like, us creating artificial life and kind of the implications of that, I suppose. Kind of the implications of us basically manufacturing fake humans to use as slaves of many varieties, and, like, the morality and kind of how fucked up that is. And especially when we only give them 4-year lifespans so that they can't even develop, because they'll eventually evolve. We've made them so intelligent that they'll evolve to the point where they gain emotion, to where they gain feelings, to where they gain all these things. But right as they start understanding them, they die. And that's pretty cruel, right? But then there was another replicant in the movie named Rachel, who was like kind of the love interest, I suppose. And she's an experiment because, for lack of a better term, she doesn't age. She doesn't have the lifespan of the other replicants. She seemingly can live as long as humans do, or maybe even longer. And they're an experiment. She was an experiment to see how it worked. They gave her fake memories to make her believe that she's human, or because she didn't even really know she was a replicant. Kind of a like binary domain type thing. Well, that actually came after. That actually came afterwards, after Blade Runner, so it probably took inspiration from Blade Runner with that idea. But I don't know. I can't really talk on the very like deep themes of the film because again, I'm not a great analyst. I'm not good at analyzing things. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk about what I liked about this film, and man, just the whole atmosphere of the film, like the brooding, dark, stormy nights, because it's like, I feel like every cyberpunk story, like with the neon streets and, the dark, gloomy city, like, you gotta have rain. Every night it's gonna rain. Every night. It's gonna rain. And one thing I really like about this film, like, most of it is at night, if not all of it. And that's good, because I just think it would look weird, like, seeing these, like, neon, kind of, like, run down, kind of, like, I mean, it's beautiful in its own way, but it's also kind of shitty, right? Because it's just an industrial hellscape. But it kind of looks beautiful at night. And if you looked at it in day, then it would kind of just look ugly, in my opinion. I mean, again, that would probably be the intention. But I think at night, it fits better with the noir aesthetic. Like, obviously, you're not going to have, like, a brooding noir scene in fucking broad daylight. You know what I mean? Night just adds an atmosphere to this kind of movie and just cyberpunk in general. I feel like every like noir or cyberpunk movie should just be 90% at nighttime because it just looks better. It just looks better. Argue with me in the comments. I will not listen. I will disprove your claims with facts and science. But anyway, this film is just really enjoyable, and it's just very, 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 very nice. One thing I really liked was the soundtrack by Vangelis. I really liked it. And I think it, like, added to the already, like, superb atmosphere of the film. It added onto it, and it just kind of made it a little haunting with some of the tracks. It kind of was eerie, with, like, the sounds that he would use and the, like, droning synths. You know what I mean? It was very, very well done, and I wouldn't mind owning that on physical, like owning a vinyl of that. I wouldn't mind that because it's a great soundtrack and it's very good ambience. You know what I mean? It's like very, very good ambience, and I mean, it's just good. I mean, I feel like most cyberpunk things have very like kind of synth based or like electronic soundtracks, which makes sense. And I always seem like whenever I see like I haven't seen a lot of cyberpunk things, but whenever I see it, they always usually have a killer soundtrack, and this is no exception. And honestly, if there's anything that you can check out for free, maybe listen to the soundtrack. Give it a bit of a listen, because it is good. It is quite good. I also, again, I really liked as I said before, I liked the themes, I liked the ideas that it brought up, the atmosphere was great, and again, the story, too. I like the story, while, even though Deckard is the main character, he is not exactly the, like, central focus. It's more of, as I said, like, the themes of the androids and what the replicants imply. That's more of the themes of the movie, the central idea of it. And Deckard is kind of just like a bystander. You know, he doesn't really know anything. He's just a Blade Runner. He doesn't really do much because, like, he doesn't really know anything context-wise. He's just doing his job, pretty much. Like, he doesn't know why they're doing these things, and he, honestly, I feel like he does feel more sympathetic towards replicants than most humans do. You know, it seems like he does, but he's just doing his job because I guess he's just doing what he's told. But I will say I'm really excited to watch the next movie because I've heard 2049. I don't know if it's better, but I've heard it's also very good, and I'm excited to watch that too because this one just got me, because I've wanted to watch 2049 for the longest time. I've heard such good things about it, and now I finally get to watch it because if I didn't watch the first one, I feel like I'd be a little lost watching the sequel. But, so, guys, leave down in the comments, which one do you think is better? If you've seen both, which is better? The original Blade Runner or 2049? There are no arguments here because I can't say. But, I don't know. I'm just rambling a little bit here. But I really like this film. And honestly, if you haven't seen it already, or maybe there are some people who have seen 2049 but haven't seen the original Blade Runner, I absolutely recommend it. It's really good. Another thing I forgot to mention, the camera work was brilliant. The lighting. Like, there were so many things about this movie that was really, really fucking good. And I would highly, highly recommend it for fans of the cyberpunk genre, science fiction, or just, like, noir. Like, this is a very, as I said, like, dark, brooding, gloomy film. And it's very neo-noir, and I really like that aesthetic. I love neo-noir. I just love when people take, like, old-timey genres like westerns or noirs or, like, samurai movies, and they just, hey, let's put it in the future. I love that idea. Just do more of it. I want more of that. And this is great. Hits it out the ballpark. But, I don't know. I just felt like saying that. But, highly recommend it for just movie fans. If you haven't seen it, or if you've seen 2049 and you haven't seen the first one, absolutely recommend it. But with that being said, what would I rate the film? Now, I would rate this film a solid 8 out of 10. And yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. Think of some peace. So guys, hope you like this video. Share with friends, subscribe, notifications on, comment below what you liked it. And I've been Runtime HD, off to retire some skin jobs. So, this movie came out in 82, right? So, and Indiana Jones and Star Wars came out around the same time. So, he wasn't just Han Solo and Indiana Jones. He was Deckard, Han Solo, and Indiana Jones around the same exact time. And that's crazy. Harrison Ford, like, back then, he kind of, like, had a similar acting style with these kind of movies. I do think Deckard was a little more... He didn't have, like, the same swagger that Han or Indy had. He was kind of more... I mean, he wasn't, I guess, like... He was just more of a normal guy in this. You know, he wasn't really, like a gunslinger or, like, a treasure-hunting, kick-ass adventurer. You know what I mean? He was just a cop doing his job. Because, like, I mean, he got his ass kicked several times in this movie. Like, he did. He got his ass beat. I mean, yeah, Indy's gotten his ass beat, too. But, like, he's gotten into, like, epic fights. And, I mean, Han Solo, like, he's gotten into some big, like, you know, dog fights and, like, gun fights. But Deckard's just a dude. He's just chilling. But I don't know. I just feel like Deckard is different in that way, in that he's just a dude. I can't do it. I can't do faces. I can't do faces. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.